A man built a company worth hundreds of millions of dollars, private jets, ranch that became Southfork from the show Dallas actually, and never once did he tell his sons how he did it. So his son had to write a book just to piece it all together. And that silence, it nearly destroyed the entire family. We filmed families where the wealth was, well, a lot. But the story is completely missing. The founder built something extraordinary, but the origin, right? The actual sacrifice, the adversity, the reason any of it exists, it never really got passed down. They didn't know how to, or they were just too busy, or they maybe assumed people already knew. And here's what we've observed. When the origin story isn't captured, the next generation fills that vacuum with assumption. They assume the values are obvious, and the founder assumes the kids already understand, because how could they not? It's a silence that looks like stability from the outside, but inside hollows everything out. Doug Box lived this exact dynamic. His father, Cloyce Box, went from Depression-era poverty to NFL champion to running a massive company, and he never really told his sons the real story.
A man like Cloyce Box had no interest in reminiscing, had no interest in looking back or engaging in nostalgic conversations. We would have loved it. We would have loved to have more of that communication. I would have loved to know more of the story, because you see what I did. I went out and created the story myself. A completely different perspective on him, because he was not really capable of sharing that part of his life with us. And in particular, if we could have heard it from a different voice, then that different voice would lend a new layer of credibility, as opposed to our dad talking to us and we'd be like, well, just the communication between my father and me personally was strained. This idea that these things that are unknown to the family today would provide a wonderful backdrop to what's going on in the current generation. Because the current generation just looks at their parents and their grandparents, and they do an eye roll and they go, oh my God, am I going to have to listen to these people, preach to me one more time? I'm going to, kill myself. When you hear it from a different voice, it lends a layer of authority that is fresh and objective.
So this is something very real that we've encountered before. The founder assumes the story is known, which in turn leads the next generation to just assume the story doesn't maybe matter. And by the time everyone realizes what's been lost, that window is closing, or it's already closed. That's why our process starts before anyone picks up a camera. We interview each family member individually. And what we consistently find is that the film becomes the first time the family actually hears its own story told completely. We're a third party coming in to help navigate this process and fill in those gaps. Doug said it perfectly. A different voice lends a layer of credibility. That's exactly what we've built our work around.